What's up, my peoples? It's Jay Cuttz. We're back with another episode of The Meaning of Life. Shouts to Terry. Shouts to everybody that made this possible. May God bless you all, and may you continue with your path and finding meaning of life and in life, and being enlightened by the truth, by the reality of how things really are, and by your dreams and goals and the path that God set forth for you since the beginning of time. We have a special guest in the house, Johnny Davidson. What's up, Johnny?
Hi, everybody. Johnny Davidson here, your host, like everybody knows, Style and Talks. I'm glad to be here.
Great. So, Johnny Dangerously, right? Which is your nickname.
Yeah.
How was this path of CDL school, watching me grow as a human being and being able to witness this first time in human history of Jay Cuttz driving a 40-foot full-size school bus?
First off, it being stick shift, I was mostly sketched out because like I said, I've been in the car with you most of the time, but this is a big vehicle, and plus on top of that is a stick shift. So I thought you was gonna stall out a couple of times, like how student drivers do. When they say, "Oh, manual's easy," until they keep stalling it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like when the vehicle turns off and shuts down. I only stalled it once. The first time. And the second time today, I only stalled it a single time. Just once. So that's pretty good for somebody that's not a professional yet, that's heading towards that. Because the first time I drove a box truck, I remember I told you at a show that I stalled it like 5 times, 6. So it makes a difference, you know.
At least you didn't stall it like going on a incline like this. Even though it is a hill going to where the practice yard is, luckily you didn't stall it like going up the hill. It was mostly like a little bit down. You stalled it once.
Exactly. And you said you were intimidated?
Yeah, because it was, today, I wasn't. I was like, okay, this time I sit in the second row back, have a seat in front of me, so just in case you brake hard or something, because again, student drivers.
But the first time you felt more nervous, right?
Yeah, the first time, because there was nothing in front of me. I had nothing, and then the cone next to me fell in the stairwell, so I said, oh boy, this is really something.
You know, it seems like you were more nervous than me, because the first time I took the school bus on the highway, right, the full-size 40-footer, of course.
I'm impressed that he actually took you on the highway with
so
that.
Quick, right?
I think it's because it's more opened, but people are more speedy on the highway. It's like less people that you have to deal with, and he probably wanted to see how you would keep up with traffic, probably.
But also the instructor did clarify that students don't make it on the highway that easily.
Right.
So there was something that I showcased for him to allow me to use a manual vehicle. And remember on the highway how I was shifting from 5th to 6th, because those are the highest gears, is a 6-speed. So those are the gears that you'll mainly use on the highway, 5, 6, 4 the least, if you must stop because of traffic, you know. But how did that feel, seeing me shift and go down the highway smoothly without stalling, which would have been a very dangerous thing?
Oh yeah, that's true. There could have been multiple things that could have been bad if you was doing that on the highway. A lot of things could have went wrong, but luckily they keep their vehicles up to date, like always. Especially when you start it in the yard. That's the first thing you always do, is pre-trip it in the yard. So everything went right because we pre-tripped it in the yard. And everything was up to date, no maintenance needed to check it or anything.
Exactly. I would say my experience with box trucks has helped me out a lot too, because remember when I went to Park Hill to pick you up in the box truck?
Yeah.
And then we hopped up back on the highway. How did that feel, especially being that I didn't have no instructor, that I was my own instructor at that point? Because it's not like you're going to tell me anything to teach me. You can tell me to look out for something, which is true, but I was the one essentially showing you that night, so I had to look out for my own,
Right.
Were you more nervous in the box truck or in the school bus with me?
Box truck, yeah, because it's nighttime and mostly speeders and idiots, or not idiots, but the clueless people are mostly out there at night doing the dangerous activities.
So for you, it was more of a risk at night.
Yeah.
Especially since we were learning like at 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Practically till 4 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
is when we got back. Yeah. So it had to be surreal, right? To see me actually like go to the block with a big ass 26 footer box truck.
You didn't rent on the block, but you was next to the block, pulled up next to your house almost with that big truck.
Well, I say on the block because of Tarji, it's a very long strip, so. And
well, that truck supposed to be on Tarji because it's a commercial vehicle.
Exactly.
So where you parked it at was allowed.
But that's what I'm saying, like.
But if you parked it on our block, which I'm not gonna say the block, that's a residential, which is also a ticket. That's
not a lot, but that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say like on the block, because that's the block closest to where we're at. I mean, it's a few feet away, But so, and how about seeing me drive a tractor trailer for the first time? How did that make you feel, especially seeing that I had to maneuver the trailer in a way because of the connection with the fifth wheel and how it sort of, has a tendency to wiggle, and that you have to keep track of the tail of the tractor. Like right now I can tell that I can merge. But in a semi truck you have to look more further down. What had happened too is that, since I'm getting a feel for the vehicle, I'm sizing it up and I'm doing my best to stay away from the cars that are parked as much as possible, because I'm still getting a feel for the width of it, because it is wider than a box truck.
Right.
So that was the logic behind that. But until you get behind the wheel, you'll understand like where all these quirks or all these reactions are stemming from,
Well, I may not be behind the tractor trailer, but the bus, here and there, but it's not like a tractor trailer though.
It's still wide though, because it has to hold a number of students, right?
Yeah, but I think the only thing you gotta worry about is that tail swing, and that I think that rear tire hitting the curb.
And would you say that that's what makes school buses harder to navigate, or charter buses, because the tail is not swinging through a fifth wheel where it bends? It's sort of more straightened out and it stays at that point. So when you're making a turn, I think it's easier to kind of hit something because it, does not have a fifth wheel to curve with.
Charter bus is the one with the 2 axles on the back. It still has a tail swing.
Yeah, but I'm speaking about the fifth wheel.
Some of them, it depends on the manufacturers. Some of them don't make it as a turning wheel. Some of them make it as a, how the dump trucks have that axle that lifts and then comes back down?
Yeah.
Like those. It doesn't have a turning axle wheel for the back. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like the express buses we have here, they don't have that.
Yeah, but you do know what the fifth wheel is. That's a part of the tractor trailer that attaches the trailer to the back.
Yeah.
That's what allows it to curve. So that makes certain maneuvers easier and harder at the same time, but it makes it easier because that long back trailer can bend and help you with turns. but a school bus or a charter bus is just flat out straight, and it doesn't curve, so it will kind of extend out a little more with the tail. Exactly.
And you have to be careful with that wheel, because that wheel could just randomly run over their foot, and you wouldn't be able to how should I call it? You'll hear some scream. You look this way. You say, "Oh, I ran over a pedestrian's foot."
Well, as long as you're looking through the rear views and you're mindful about how you move, you shouldn't have that problem, you know. But again, like there's a lot of speculation around this. Until you do it for yourself, then you'll understand what it really takes. Because seeing it from the outside is not the same. I've seen so many people drive MTA buses and trucks, and it just doesn't feel the same when you're behind the wheel. It's a whole new experience. When they're doing it, it almost seems like they're just driving a car. And then when you get behind there, especially for your first few times, it's like a nerve-wracking feeling. And it's not out of insecurity, it's just out of human need for survival. You understand the severity of what you're doing, and you know that it's not a game, you know, and that when it comes to certain mistakes on the road, there's no going back. So you want to really protect yourself, you know, and the people around you.
Right.
Exactly. So do you look forward in taking out the school bus soon, especially because you have a lot of the main parts, I would say, of the pre-trip inspection on lock?
Yeah, mostly here and there.
Do you think you could explain to the crowd and to the people somewhat of your knowledge when it comes to the pre-trip inspection, radiator, wiring, harness,
The pre-trip,
castle nut?
The pre-trip,
and
you
cab.
really have to focus on it, especially under the hood. Under the hood is the most important thing to learn. It's not about the in cab or anything else around the bus. It's the under the hood that is important, and you gotta learn the driver's side and passenger side. Both sides you gotta learn, because if not, you could mess up one day and fail the test.
So explain to us somewhat of the information that you know about the pre-trip inspection driver's side.
The driver's side is mostly going to be your wires and hoses, and then the passenger side is going to be your air filters and your fluids and the radiator and all this other stuff. Radiator is going to be on the other side, but driver's side is going to be your engine, your hoses, and anything that has to do with wires and engine. And then on the other side is mostly your air and fluids.
And also on the driver's side, you got the power steering gearbox, the fluid. So that's all connected.
Right.
Exactly. How about the braking system?
Braking system. So yeah, that's also has to deal with the driver's side. Either when you do your test, is either whatever side the instructor tells you to start with.
The examiner, yeah.
Yeah. So if they want you to, on the test, the day of your test, if they tell you to start on the driver's side, then you have to complete all of those stuff on the driver's side, including the wheel and the the S cam and all those other stuff behind the wheel and in front of the wheel, and you also got to inspect the wheel itself.
Make sure it's not bent, cracked, or broken. The lug nuts, no rust.
You also,
no bolts are missing.
Yeah, and then some of the parts that you see, like for the wires and hoses, like for the hoses that carry fluid, you have to say no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, you have to say no abrasions, no bulges, or cuts, and it's properly mounted and secured, and there's no missing hardware and no missing bolts. And with the wires, you gotta say it's not cut, frayed, or smell of burns, and it's properly mounted and secured.
Exactly.
And then with the steering system, you gotta say there's no more than whatever interplay it is, because every driving school is a little different. But the one that me and Jay is in, they say it's no more than 10 degree of play.
For the steering wheel.
Yeah, and the U joints are properly greased and properly mounted and secured. And then you also have to do your steering shaft, the rims. The rims is properly sealed with the tire, and the tire is also properly sealed. There's no grease or anything around it, making it coming off loosely. The wheels being screwed on with the bolts is properly mounted and secured. There's no indicating shining treads, indicating looseness, and they're all properly mounted and secured. And there's no illegal weldings.
Illegal weldings, yeah. I heard that certain parts of the frame are not supposed to be welded, or I heard the frame isn't supposed to be welded.
Well, anything that has to do with metal on the vehicle, there's no illegal weldings. Even the rim.
The rims, yeah.
Yeah, people might. I know one of y'all in the group is probably like, why illegal weldings on the wheel when the wheel's on the ground? Well, the wheel is also a rim too, and it also cracks too, just like the frame.
It's what holds the vehicle up, so welding that would compromise its strength.
Right. If you weld that, if there's any welds on it, that could lead to a dangerous situation. God forbid you're on the highway and that wheel comes apart. Not the wheel, but the rim itself. You hit one pothole and that rim like crack in half or something. That's why it's important to do your outside inspections with the vehicles.
Exactly.
And that's how some of the people who don't do their inspections lose their jobs.
And their licenses, and possibly even their lives, hopefully not, or people lose their lives because of that, because of the neglect.
Right. And then your in-cab is also important too. And check your in-cab is important too. The aisles are important. Your emergency exits are important. Anything that's around the vehicle, just the vehicle itself, is a whole protocol. Because if you don't inspect that whole vehicle, you get blamed for something that you didn't do, even though you just drove the vehicle out and drove it back in.
So what would you say, you have a passion for these type of vehicles now, especially that you've been attending school and surrounded in this environment of knowledge and wisdom?
Yeah, like today you saw me actually looking inside the vehicle while you and the owner of the instructor was outside, right? I was pretending like I'm inspecting my vehicle. I was checking the emergency windows, the emergency hatches, the doors, the emergency door, the side emergency door, and the passenger door. Even though the passenger door is not an emergency exit, but God forbid if all the exits are not available, then that door is also an exit too.
Exactly. And seeing me drive the 40-foot school bus made you a believer, right? That you are next and that you can do it as well.
After getting whiplash, I don't know.
No, but this is the thing. I was doing manual though. You might start with an automatic, even though I do
Right.
recommend manual, because when you do the hardest part, the easier becomes far less simple. Like, it's just second nature at that point, you know?
Right.
So that's what I recommend. But again, like, I wish you had a simulator so you can kind of go through the trial and error without having to be out there in the real world. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. Real world experience outweighs any comfort of a simulator. I thought I wanted that, but real world experience is essentially what the majority of us need. Is we need that tough love, you know, because if not, we're not going to take it in a serious way.
Right.
You know, you're still going to think you're in a video game, that you're in a simulator, and then when you come to realize you're dealing with real lives and real safety and real situations that can turn very dangerous, you know, very quick if you're not paying attention, you know.
Well, just one look away, it's like a blink of an eye and an accident happens.
And the fact that, right, you saw the instructor telling me to not look at the shifter while I'm shifting, but at the same time I'm simultaneously hitting the clutch, hitting the gas or the brakes, watching for my rear views, seeing pedestrians ahead, seeing hazards to the right, hazard to the left. If I have to go through an overpass, I have to say the overpass is at least 14 feet and the bus is 10.6.
Oh, it's 10.6?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
But see, I know this because I was out on the road driving. See, so that's why it's important to get that experience, because then you'll start to remember these things a lot more. And then when it comes to the pre-trip, I have to get that down packed. But speaking about the pre-trip too, I remember you were speaking about the U-joints, and I remember they told me something about the U-bolts on the driver's side. Is that the same thing? Is it on the driver's side? In the front of the U-bolts? Yeah, is it in the front of the driver's side, in the front inspection when you open up the hood?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you put me in a very tricky position. I honestly don't know.
It's better for
but
us.
But they're probably kind of different.
Yeah.
They probably do kind of differently things.
I got you. I mean, there's a lot of parts that are very, very similar in there. They're not all, like, for example, there's like a front axle, there's a back axle. So it's like, if you say axle, the vehicle has a couple of axles, but which one?
Right.
Exactly. In the tractor trailer, we know it has the front axle, which is A, and then the B axle by the fifth wheel, and then the C axle, which is in the back. So there's a lot of information to learn from, you know. And are you ready to take out the school bus?
I do the automatic.
Sure, man.
Yep.
I could see you with a clutch and a gear shift like me. Nope. You know, old-fashioned trucker.
Nope.
Old-fashioned Southern.
Nope.
Old Texas. Right? So we do it around here in Texas. You know, go down to the gas station, get some diesel, go have some Arizona. You know, old-fashioned roller dogs.
Right. You're pressing it too much. We're in New York right now. We're not in Texas.
We're not in Texas?
Just wait until if we're in Texas, then we could talk
get some roller dogs,
that.
Right?
Nah.
Hot barbecue, right?
No.
Texas.
No, we're not in Texas.
All right. That's what it is, bro. I look forward to seeing all these good things happen, man. You're a young kid. The fact that you're around all of this and at such a young age, man, it's a huge inspiration for me. You know, I'm glad that you were able to find this path, and that's why I do what I can to push you, you know, to go towards this and do your best, you know. Like, again, you don't have to say that you have to drive the full-size 40-footer bus, but if you want to, do it. Or if, let's just say, if you don't want to because of whatever reason, you could take out the small bus, but I would suggest you to, you know, drive the full-size one.
I mean, I am gonna do it, but right now, that's a lot of tell, and you know how many blocks you gotta go.
But that's what they're gonna train you.
True.
Really good.
Yeah, but there could be a route that they could be a road that they never put me on.
They're gonna train you for that.
They probably routed out on their sheet.
But talk
versus in reality.
No, but let me explain this to you. The training that we're getting in Queens, because we have to go to Queens for this, is as close to the real world of the city as possible. First of all, if you get a school bus job in Staten Island, you're not going to deal with that amount of a population.
They are narrow roads.
No, I'm talking about that amount of a population.
Like our street.
No, but there's not as many people in Staten Island.
It's not about population.
As there is.
It's about roads.
No, it's a lot of things actually, because seeing all those people means you got to watch out for more, hazards on the road.
I wish
more danger. No, it makes a big difference. I'm telling you, it does.
I wish there was a driving school.
There's more
Staten
space.
Island.
No, there is, but there's more space in Staten Island to drive. First of all, there's more space. Roads in Queens, you weren't there that day. I drove on a very narrow road without our main instructor. I did. You weren't there that day. That was on Sunday, right, when the marathon shut down all the bridges. I told you I'm not going that marathon. No, but this is what I'm trying to say. Take it from somebody that's taking a training. They're going to take you on all of these narrow roads, and you're going to experience that. So don't think.
So was it worth it that Sunday?
Yeah, but don't think that.
No.
Yes, it was.
Let me ask you.
Yes, it was.
Was it worth sitting in traffic coming back
from
whatever?
I was on a train.
Oh, so you was on foot?
I'm not.
But still,
I
was
can't
it
go
worth
there in
it?
car with all the bridges shut down. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. What do you want me to tell you? I had a good time. But
I wouldn't like it, honestly. Especially if I have to leave Staten Island to go through New Jersey, and then.
But that's not. Listen.
And then whatever bridge is open, which is probably gonna be Brooklyn.
I got you. No, they were all shut down for the marathon, and you told me that. You knew that already. I don't know why you already knew that. You knew that before me. But I
told you I have a friend who watched.
No, he knew too. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even thinking about the marathon. I don't do that, so I didn't think about it. But like I said, taking from somebody that's taking the courses, all the speculation you have in Queens, you're gonna be put in those situations, and you have the funding from the grant, right? When I get that license, when I get my Class B BPS CDL, which is Passenger School Bus Endorsement, I'm going to have a freedom that I didn't have before. And I'm not going to work in school bus, even though it's a beautiful bus. I can actually buy one with that, and I could turn it into an RV and go camping and get some roll dogs. But I'm just saying this just to say it, like, when you look at your future, man, and if it's really meaningful today to you, whatever you have to go through doesn't matter, man. So whatever you can to go to school, to go to class, to get that knowledge, it's gonna pay off, man. You don't have to like it, but you're gonna like that nice paycheck and that good career and that hot wife and those nice kids and whatever it is that you want, and then you want to take.